signals for the Baltimore Colts. Unitas gives to Amici. The Colts are the world champions. Amici scores.
It's amazing, sensational, dramatic, heart-rending, exciting, thrilling finish in the history of college football. California has won the big game.
5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable.
This is Phil Steele.
This is Mike Burnham.
This is Wes Durham.
This is Mike Ashley.
Hi, this is Chuck Foreman, number 44 of the Minnesota Vikings.
Woo, mercy, this is handsome Jimmy Vane, the Boogie Woogie Man.
This is Coach Fry with Virginia Tech Football, and you are listening to Big Dog Sports Talk.
Are you ready to rock? Are you ready to roll? Okay, let's do it.
Rick Watson's got the mic, he's the big dog king. Cover sports so sharp, it's a new river thing. Virginia Tech fire, rapid pride too. Every stat, every play, he's bringing it to you. He's got that voice, deep as the valley, breaking it down, no dilly, no dally. Big dog sports talk, feel the bar. He's got the scoop, faster than a sprint. Calling plays like a coach, every word's a hint. From the courts to the fields, the stories unfold. Rick's play-by-play, worth its weight in gold. With a laugh and a growl, he'll pull you in. Big Dog's podcast, let the games begin. Big Dog Sports Talk, feel the bar, feel the bite.
And good morning, and welcome to the Finally Friday edition of the program. You know it's Friday because you see the graphic that says, finally, it's Friday. What's up, Banana Flop? Good to see you. How are you? Good morning, Stephen. Please, if you're new, subscribe, like, and share the channel. Hope everybody's doing okay. Finally got to the end of the work week, which is awesome. A lot going on, man. A lot going on. We had a great time last night on Pop. If you missed it, shame on you. Coach Elmo joins us today at 6:45. Mike Ashley, 7:15 with the open mic. And then Jen, who popped in chat last night during Pop. Dwight Vick joined us last night. Coach Elmo jumped on last night. Morris was great. Coach Mabry, DVP. Was that everybody? I think that was everybody. And we had great comments in chat. What's up, Ibrahim? Absolutely, LT Jody. Absolutely. 100%. Psalm, one of my all-time favorite books in the Old Testament. Please subscribe, by the way. Anybody who stops by, we're a very community-friendly place. We do not tolerate any derogatory comments toward anyone's race or religion, anything of that nature. But hey, we're good. We're good. You will be eliminated from the ability to communicate if you decide to go that route. So don't go that route. But Pop was great last night. You know, Dwight came on toward the last, I guess, hour and had some really good thoughts. And he had some things that I know he can't be on back-to-back days, and we're going to touch on it next Thursday, but he had some really good stuff about some of his frustrations coming out of things that he's seeing out of Blacksburg. And I don't want to put words into his mouth because he says it better than I do, but I think the one thing that I think he touched on that I have kind of talked to some people about working down at Radford, and you talk to a lot of tech people who are season ticket holders or go to games, and they're all rah-rah, is that there's a lot can be said when you see so much effort being put in style over substance. Kamari Copeland yesterday breaks 500 pounds. He sets the all-time bench press record. They put it out immediately. And Dwight's point was, if that would have happened when Mike Gentry was in Blacksburg, it probably would have just been posted on the weight room wall. And you'd have taken more personal pride in that. Of course, now in the age of social media and the digital, and you're going to make sure you get that out. You're trying to market. Lots of marketing. We had a coach, I won't mention his name, fairly early in my tenure at Radford University, who was not very successful, although he recruited very well. And he was one of those individuals who chose a presentation over quality content, over quality depth. And I don't just mean depth 1 through 10 on your bench. I mean quality substance is what I should say. It goes back to style over substance. He always had high-priced suits he'd wear during games, and talk about when you'd sit down and have breakfast, all the places he had stopped and bought cool things, and it kind of translated over into his players. He found a lot of really good players, but they didn't have that basketball substance to be good, to come together to be a good team. And I just think that stands out. And I think we see that a lot now in college athletics and these athletic departments and the things that they're putting out to release. There's a lot of style points. And you can say, hey, they're doing it for recruiting. You know, I can take a rubber mallet and hit you over the head 100 times, but recruiting only comes down to one thing. It's everybody stop. I mean, no matter how many times you say it, no matter how many times you see the proof of it, everybody's going to act like that's not what's making kids commit to schools. But that's your prerogative. But style over substance is a dangerous, dangerous thing. Especially when you're talking about sports. And I'm not talking about uniform style, because uniforms mean a lot. Yeah, Thunder, we saw that. We talked about that last night. Yeah, Diego Pavia got cut from the Ravens already. You know, he signed a 3-year deal. It's weird. I don't know how those contracts work. Clearly, the money's not going to come guaranteed to come to him. But this is how quickly you can be wrong. All right. So I was wrong. Hey, look at that. I said 3 words that people are just so damn afraid to say. I was wrong about Diego Pavia. Last year when we started this program, as the season got going, I was real excited about Diego Pavia. You know, I said it how many times. He was my favorite player to watch. The way he would gut out wins, the way he willed his team to win. We saw it 2 years ago when Tech was down in Nashville and he rallied them, and then in overtime. Yeah, exactly, Keon. Yeah, that's right. That's true. I saw that. You know, and Dwight talked about that. His teammates were just like, but hey, let's put it out there. Let's put it out there. And Keon probably knows which Radford coach I'm referencing from well before he got there. But I thought Diego Pavia was a breath of fresh air in college football. I loved the way he played. I did like he was a little brash because he controlled it to how he played on the football field. And he had a will to win, man, and he lifted that team up. How many times did you watch him on SEC Saturday nights, and he was just the best player on the field? And then he started to get into the style. He lost the substance. Let's use that as a theme today, shall we? And he started running his mouth about things he shouldn't have. Then he embarrassed himself at the Heisman, leading into the Heisman Trophy presentation ceremony, the things he said about his competitors, about the people who voted, and then the way he handled himself or didn't handle himself afterwards. He embarrassed himself. He was undraftable. So the Ravens gave him a shot, and I don't know, I haven't seen the details, but clearly he didn't show enough to make him worth keeping. And I'm wrong. I was wrong about him. I'm going to appreciate the way he played the game at Vandy, but the person needs a lot of work. We all need a lot of work on a daily basis, but he felt entitled, the entitlement. You don't have any entitlement in the National Football League. You have to earn every aspect of everything you get in the NFL. Now, he was always very short. There was always going to be a question, if you just wanted to look at it from a pure football standpoint, as whether or not he was going to be able to actually make a roster in the NFL and stick. He was about 5'11", 5'10", 5'11". That's not ideal at all. Shorter quarterbacks usually do not have a long shelf life in the league. But he didn't really have another position. But any chance he did have, I think he blew it from getting drafted. And then the Ravens gave him a shot, and they didn't like what they saw. So I won't say that other teams won't give him a shot. They might. I wouldn't think so. Maybe he goes to Canada. You can make a good living in the CFL. And I don't say that facetiously. A lot of guys do that. It's a different type of football in terms of how the field looks and scoring and all that. But nonetheless, we'll see. But that's the guy. You talk about a lesson in self-destruction. That was Diego Pavia. And I'm sure he's spending time blaming everybody else, because that's usually the way it goes. Family Fencing, sponsor of our studios, 540-200-8294. Check out their website, familyfencingnrv.com. They were our first sponsor here on the program, sponsoring our studio. McClellan Chiropractic, 155 Walters Drive, Mark Hundley. Check out the video. You guys can't see all the rewatches. I get a report on the rewatches. I think it's gotten like 500 rewatches. So good for you, Mark. Pulaski County Sports Entertainment, our title sponsor here on the program. And the jet ski race is right around the corner. I want to go live at the multiplex, the sports place, after we visited there. That video's gotten several hundred views. Little River Heating and Air, 1095 Radford Street in Christiansburg, 540-553-2971. The winner of our Attorney Ryan Pry at 701 West Main Street in Radford, Trust and Estate Planning Fan Question of the Week was dun, 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 the Houston Texans. Ended up with 29 votes. Thanks everybody who sent text messages. 29 votes as one of the 4 teams remaining who have not been to the Super Bowl: Lions, Browns, Texans, and Jags. And it was the Houston Texans who came out on top. The Lions were second with 17. So it was clear that everybody's looking at what's going on right now with DeMeco Ryans, who is proven to be a terrific young football coach. National Bank member FDIC, the exclusive banking partner for me for 35 years and this program, thanks to Larry Ramsey. I would not suggest banking with anyone else ever. I've been telling you about the great deal. You have a week left now, exactly a week left from today. If you haven't done it, why are you hedging? Reach out to Travis Williams, Professional Door, 674-0008. Tell him you heard us talking about it. You get $40 off of your preventative maintenance to your garage door. I know how many people have garage doors. I'm one of the few that do not have a garage door here where I live in Reiner. But you need to check it out, and you need to reach out to them. Do it today and tell them you heard us talking about it. It's that easy. It's just a phone call. You can schedule it 2-3 months down the road. You can schedule it next year. Hell, they don't care. But you got to schedule it in July while they're celebrating their 40 years. Substance over style. Professional Door Incorporated. Nothing but substance. Although Travis is quite stylish. ReadySetFund.com. BobChrist11 at Gmail. And read up on the Ready Set Fund if you don't know about it. Talk to anybody from Floyd County High School. Softball team raised a record $4,300. So reach out to them. It's been a terrific program for a lot of schools and organizations. Sundown Electric, excellent reputation, long list of satisfied clients, attest to their superior craftsmanship. Reach out to the Smith brothers. They keep prices down, 5-star ratings all the way around. They're the best. Thanks to Brandon at Top Shelf Apparel. The NRB Super Bowl, I don't know what else to say about how wonderful they are. Terry and Amanda, and what they did for us in the Bash last week. It's hard to believe it's almost been a week. Reserve your lanes. They've got leagues forming now as well, mixed leagues, men's and women's leagues. The children's league start, or the youth league start the 12th of September. I think it's $12 a week to bowl as much as you bowl, however you want to bowl. I mean, I don't know how you get much better than that. And James Lawson has been around since 1997. You don't last that long, 30 years, without being really good at what you do. 540-381-8011, parts for your home, plumbing, windows, installment as well. 300 North Franklin Street in Christiansburg. From the foot-stomping bluegrass music that starts soon in Galax, BDSTers are praying for the day we can stomp our feet to music by Jen Sachs. BDST is popping. Great to see you last night, Morris. The next question is whether they will win a Super Bowl before them boys. Talk about the Texans. Well, yeah, I think they're better prepared to do it right now. Houston, they have to get, Dallas is such an interesting thing. Because I'm a Dak Prescott guy in terms of, I'm not saying that he's necessarily a top 5 quarterback in the league. I'm not saying that at all. But the man is one of the best in the league. The man, the person of Dak Prescott. I think he plays really, really hard. He has not had a championship pedigree in the NFL. That's true. He has not won like he needs to. What's up, Potato Mange? How are you? Please subscribe. Hello, Murder Drones Lover. That's a great name. That's a great name. Everybody see Bill Hader's impersonation of Alan Alda? I'm not good at it, but, well, that's a fantastic line. But as far as the Texans go, Thunder, C.J. Stroud has to play better. He has to come back and be. Thank you, Potato. Appreciate that. Please stay subbed. And look, anybody's welcome to add conversation here. We just don't take any. We will not tolerate any any derogatory comments about anybody's race, sexuality, anything like that, you're gone. That's all. You just got to be a decent human being. Just be a nice person. That's all. Is that hard? But C.J. Stroud has to be better. The defense, I think, is going to be good as long as he's there. As the head coach, he was a terrific defensive football player. He's drafted very well. And we'll see what happens with Houston. They're going to be the favorites in that division. You know, Indy took strides last year. David Smith loves him. Now, David didn't get to join us this week because he's traveling. He wanted to try to jump on today, but it didn't work. So we'll get him back next week to go over the NFC West. He likes the Colts a lot more than I do. I think he has the Colts winning the division again. I think that's what he said. And I don't know about Jacksonville. I don't know about Trevor Lawrence. We'll see if he can have another good year. And then Tennessee's building, although I'm a big fan of Cam Ward, the player. I think Cam Ward's got some stuff about him. We saw it at Miami, and I think he's, trying to get there. I have not watched the Murder Drones. Tell me about it, Murder Drones. Let me know. But, so Tech immediately released that and showed the video, and Keon's right. Teammates for, But again, that's who James Franklin is. He's talking about remaking the place, giving it a facelift, right? A lot of style he's trying to bring into it. And we'll see if his program gets into the season and shows some substance. Dwight was pretty fired up last night about a lot of things. He was good. He was good. He was going off about recruiting rankings, and he worked at 247, and I think he called it a complete farce. And I've been trying to tell people people see those rankings and those lists, and boy, they just run with it like it is absolutely the greatest thing in the world. Oh my God, look what's happened with this recruiting class, that recruiting class, blah, blah, blah. And he went into some detail, because on Pop it's a little looser conversation. I'll let him talk about it, but I've been trying to tell you, it's a lot of keyboard jockeys. Let me just give you an example. There may be a kid who they're seeing for the very first time, and they may not even see any video of the kid. Like none. They see the name pop up, and they see that he's got so many stars already and how many teams have offered and who is saying what about them, and they'll immediately give their analysis and rank them a 4-star, 3-star, 5, whatever. And they've never even seen him on the field. They make their living not worried about their credibility and how things turn out, but how many clicks and subscriptions they get. I cannot imagine anyone wasting their money subscribing to a recruiting site today. Why? Why would you do that? But some people do. A lot of people do because they're still in business. All that matters in recruiting is if the coach, especially now in the day of paying, if they're satisfied with who they're bringing in, they feel like they can make them players, right? Because they're putting their reputation, their jobs on the line. You've got to not only develop, but you've got to entice to keep them here. That's the other reason, along with how inadequate those ratings are that get run with by media folk and fans, like it's finding biblical scripture. In this day and age, you can't assume anybody's going to live up to that commitment to begin with. And I don't know why that's hard for so many people to understand. You're seeing it every place in the country, in every conference. The evidence is there almost daily. Will there be anomalies and some classes stay and they commit to being there longer? Sure, as long as the money's good. We all stay in certain places if the money's good. People stay in jobs all the time they may not love or like because the money's good, right? How many times have you found yourself working somewhere and you don't really like it? It doesn't really challenge you. It may not be what you spent all that money for college on, get a degree, but you stay in it because the money's pretty good. I talked to someone yesterday. I was over in Blacksburg yesterday and was talking to somebody about that very thing. I went to school for this because this was what I really wanted to do, and nothing really ever happened there. So then I got into this. I never even thought about doing this career. It's something that's completely a 180 from anything I ever thought I would do, but guess what? I've learned to adapt to it and do it well because it pays well. That's the same thing that's happening in college recruiting. You don't want to believe it. Okay. Oh, gotcha. Okay, well, I hope it's a good show, Murder Drones. I probably won't be watching. There's not a lot of modern entertainment that excites me. Yeah, not a lot of modern entertainment that excites me. I really liked season 1 of Landman, and then Landman season 2 wasn't very good. I didn't think it was very good. I thought they started to focus on things that got completely. So it's hard for me. It's hard for me to sit down. I can't sit there and just binge watch a show. I don't. They all end up kind of being very cookie cutter to me. There are some good ones, sure there are, but I don't feel like I have to watch. It's like I don't feel like I have to go see a movie. Now, Keon, if he's still here, kept telling me about Michael, and I finally watched it, and it was fine. It was fine. It was good. It was cool to see that recreation. I thought his nephew was outstanding. I mean, I didn't feel like, I mean, I know it would have been much better in IMAX hearing it, but I didn't feel like I had to, you know. But I was glad I watched it. That was the last thing I guess I've seen other than Supergirl, which was easily one of the 5 worst movies I've ever seen in my life. There was nothing tangible about that movie. And the more you think about it, even though somebody else bought my ticket, because I had told him, I said, look, I'm not wasting my money on this crap. I still feel like I blew 2 hours of my life. I remember Little House on the Prairie, No Mercy. Michael Landon, absolutely. It's a good show, wasn't it? I do. Hello, country. Good morning, brother. I agree ratings might be driven by subscriptions a little bit. However, the blue chip ratio is legit. Hard to win a title without 4- and 5-star players. Well, I don't know what makes them 4- and 5-star players, right? They've got to get somewhere, and you've got to have a coaching staff that can harness whatever raw talent that they have. I mean, you can go somewhere as a high. It happens all the time, and I know it happens a lot in college basketball too. Maybe that gets highlighted even more because there are fewer of them, but there are a lot of busts in college hoops over the years. And I think now the bigger challenge for coaches, not only in trying to keep these kids, is how do you develop them when they get there? Are they going to want to develop? Are they going to be as motivated to develop if they're already making $1 million or $2 million before they step foot on campus? And that's the challenge that these programs have to adapt to. And I think that's something I'm going to try to watch more closely. We're going to have Phil Steele on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, and I'm going to try to watch more as we watch some of these, teams play. They're either not necessarily heavy in the portal, but have a lot of young players. How many young players are at Georgia and Alabama, Michigan, and Ohio State? I want to see how many young recruits are coming in, red shirt, whatever, as opposed to portal guys and so forth. And look at classes and see how many of those guys stay. certain programs will not ever be outbid, right? Ohio State is not going to be outbid very often. That it might happen individually. Alabama, and Coach Elmo, I'm going to get Coach Elmo to talk about something too here coming up. Coach Elmo was picking up, he and Dwight were holding court on these topics last night. It was really good. Enjoy NSN. I got mine done before the show. It's very cathartic to do that early in the morning. I hope it goes well. Please subscribe. Hey, that's an honor. I heard one of the YouTubers I watch, if somebody is taking care of their business in the bathroom, yeah, thank you. There you go. This is what I was going to say. If somebody's taking care of their business and you are their time passer, that's a badge of honor as a YouTube person. Enjoy, man. Thank you, NS. Appreciate that. Here goes the guy. He's going to be banned. Joe, you're gone. Thanks, NS. I appreciate you. But Coach Elmo talked about their programs. Oh, that's okay. Hey, if that's what you like, Murder Drones, no problem. Hey, and I asked you to tell me about it, and that's what you're doing. So Coach Elmo is going to come on and talk about entrenched programs, and he talked about what he sees Virginia Tech, what could they be capable of doing in other recruiting circles, and what are they never going to be capable of doing, and how some programs will always be capable of doing that. We'll talk about that with Coach Elmo. It was a really good discussion. And Dwight is right. All it's going to matter is what the team looks like and how they play and win. If they win, I won't even say how they look. They clearly looked the part. By the way, Coach Foster yesterday was outstanding, wasn't he, Bud Foster? And what did he say? We looked the part. Talking about Tech, some of the recruits, current roster, guys who are going to contribute in 2026. Are they football players? He's not changing what he said at the Blacksburg Sports Club. And that's where it comes down to this coaching staff. It's like you can't, and it's not everybody. Not everybody. It's almost like you cannot objectively talk about the situation in Blacksburg and things you have a genuine concern about. Look, I want to see them win. I want to see them do well. And then you get attacked. I get a lot of, it's crazy. It's almost like you can't objectively look at anything regarding the James Franklin beginning of his era without being a hater. You're just a hater. No, but I just don't go around, sniffing somebody's jockstrap that hasn't done anything yet at this place. Talking about something objectively does not make you a hater. It just means you're looking at it from all angles. If I'm a Tech fan, if I'm a season ticket holder, I'm not a season ticket holder. If I'm a donor, I'm not a donor. But if I were, I would look at what's happened the last 6 or 7 years, and I wouldn't be satisfied. Like a Dwight Vick, who bleeds Chicago maroon and burnt orange. He doesn't care about anything but winning. Winning. If I'm a Tech fan, I care about nothing but winning. Thanks, NSN. We're talking sports. We're talking entertainment. We'll talk whatever. The main show here is sports, but on the channel we do other stuff. BT has won the spring game in every presser. Be happy, people. Dwight talked about, James Franklin said we won the off season. That's great. Now how about winning during the season? And if that starts to happen, then all these things people can say, see, he was right. And I hope so. I hope you can. I hope you can say, hey, It was all correct. Look, nobody was talking about Duke or UVA last year. Nobody. At least not positively. And what did happen? They end up playing in the ACC title game. Nobody's really talking about UVA this year. Just saying. Nobody was talking about Indiana 3 years ago. People were questioning why in the world Kurt Signetti went to Indiana. Hey, Western Australia, you know we have like, I want to say 5 different Australian subscriptions. You would be 6th, NS. Steven's right. You can talk, say all you want. Team needs to prove it on the field. Yeah. I mean, look at all these SEC coaches just making asses out of themselves. Did you see some of this stuff at Media Day? Talked about John Sumrall, new Auburn coach. These guys are trying to pretend like they're talking smack. It's all just, it's just the Arkansas. Those guys are, in other words, those guys are already feeling the pressure cooker. None more so than John Sumrall at freaking Florida. No, he was not, T-Bird. He was not. Not even sure what he was. It was a 2 or a 3. I don't know. Again, I don't care about it, so I don't. But yeah. Yeah, man. You are. You're number 6. Congratulations. Thanks, NS. Appreciate you, man. Stop by anytime. Stop by anytime. Hey, before you leave, what time is it again in Australia? We're at 6:30 Eastern Time, United States. Aren't you like a whole day ahead of us? Isn't it amazing how the sun and the world turns? Isn't that wild? That's wild. Sorry, I was watching some Bill Hader impressions yesterday, and I can't do any of them well, but his Alan Alda might be the best impression I've ever seen. So it's 6:40 p.m., so you are 12 hours ahead. Okay. So Australia is 12 hours ahead of us. Wow, isn't that wild? Think about that. So NS is talking to us right now in the future. You're a future boy, NS. Coach Foster yesterday talked about a lot of the guys that came into Virginia Tech that weren't highly regarded by any recruiting services, by any coaches. Therefore, they weren't giving scholarships. They had to get an invitation to walk onto a program, and they turned out to be great players. I believe that that can still be true today, regardless of how much money's out there. You can still find diamonds in the rough, right? You have to. Certain programs are going to have to do that. Ask him if he'll send tonight's lottery numbers. All right. Yes, yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, it is wild, man. When I start thinking about all the time, different times across the world, it does. It makes you go, wow, isn't that cool? We are spinning around, aren't we? This orb. T-Bird says, speaking of Pavi, have you ever seen a better example of loose lips sink ships? Correct. Ridiculousness. Look, you can change your mindset about somebody. It's okay. And that's what I did with Diego Pavia. I didn't don't have any problem jumping off that ship. Because you have to be a decent human being and you have to have a little bit of respect, right? All right, Dennis. Thanks again, man. Great to meet you. Brady was before star ratings, but he was a low 4-star player program. Whatever that means, right? Thanks, producer Wayne. Wayne from Ohio. By the way, your Browns came in last in our BDSD fan question of the week. The Jags got more votes than the Browns for going to the Super Bowl. Sorry. You even voted for the Texans. But hey, I was wrong. Look at that. I admitted I was wrong and nothing happened to me. Wow, what a concept. It's okay. It's okay. I was hoping he would have a shot in the NFL because he was a really fun college football player. He was a terrific college football player. I don't think anybody can deny he was a terrific college football player. But he's not a very good person. And he has shown that time and again. And that means a lot. Maybe even more so now than ever with the money that's out there. Well, Wayne, maybe the Brownies will be like the Wahoos last year, right, in Duke. Maybe nobody's talking about them, and they're going to rise up with me as the starting quarterback. Joining us now on the program, Coach Elmo, who showed up last night, was outstanding. He's back again this morning. I don't think he even went to sleep. What's up, Coach? Good morning.
Felt like I stayed over your house.
We had a sleepover.
Jesus.
Dwight was fired up last night, wasn't he?
Oh, my God. Wow. You know what?
He was riled up.
Yeah. It was like 1st and 10 on the goal line. He was ready.
He was ready last night. He was ready, man. He was ripping 247. I know that. Yeah. You made a great point, and I thought you guys were talking, and I thought about it afterwards. And you talked about certain programs being able to do, to have an imprint out of their region. They can go to certain places because of who they are. And then you mentioned that no matter the pontificating from James Franklin or whomever, Virginia Tech's not necessarily that type of program, are they? Traditionally,
well, not yet. I mean,
not yet.
Trying to be even in Frank's heyday, the heyday of Virginia Tech. It was. I've always said I think it holds true today. The portal has taken this out. Take away the portal. Just looking at the high school players and not the list players, not the 5-star 247 guys, the guys that, Virginia Tech football staff have evaluated players and where they've taken, their best player, their first-round draft choices. And you look at the high school players today as like the NFL. That's the draft, as opposed to the portal being the free agency. So when you're looking at the draft, and that's the way I'll describe it now today in high school football, by the coaching evaluations in the states of, there's two kinds of schools. There's projection schools and selection schools. And the projection schools are basically when you look at Ohio State, Georgia, LSU, Alabama, Florida, particularly Texas A&M. Those are the schools that, in their footprint, that driving distance to get those draftees on the campus 3 times before the official visit. 3 times, as we talked about before. You got to be able to, you look at the state of Louisiana. At one point in time when Nick got there, it was the highest of any of the state where NFL players were produced. That's why one of the reasons he took the job. That's a fact. So when you're in those states where you're in an LSU, You're at it. You get to sit there and go, okay, I'm going national, and I'm going to cherry pick. I'm going to go to this. I'm in Georgia, and I'm going to the state of Virginia, and I'm going to go get Chris Cole from Salem High School. Now, is he going to visit Virginia Tech? Yeah, he's going. But when it's all said and done, Georgia can come in to the state of Virginia and get the number one player. And I'll tell you, and he was the SEC Freshman of the Year. As a productive freshman player, and probably a mid-year guy. That's another conversation. So those are the selection schools. They can go out, leave their footprint after they establish their footprint and establish their draft recruiting in their footprint. They can go national and cherry pick. Okay, so at Virginia Tech, my experiences, and I'm not saying now in the next 10 years, but my experiences was, and why I loved coaching there, most of the places I'd been, Wisconsin, Purdue, Virginia Tech, were projection schools. And Barry Alvarez understood that. Frank understood that. And Joe Tiller understood that. It's no knock. It's what it is.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's not a criticism at all. No.
You got to go out and project players of what and what their potentials are and how you see them and so the bottom line was, I always said, could Virginia Tech go into the Alabama, LSU, Florida, when I was my tenure there, and go get the number one kid in those states? Go down and beat out, not 247 number one kid,
right?
The list kid. I'm talking about the real player that Alabama has offered, that Nick Saban has offered, and he's their number one prospect in whatever position. Can you go down there and get that kid? And the answer is no. Even in the NIL with the 2 Brinks trucks full of money. But can Alabama come to Virginia and get the number one player in the state? Yes, they could. Yes, they can. And so can Ohio State, because they have. Now, is James Franklin going to change that? He can change it by keeping the kids in the state like Frank, and I get that. But now, can he go into the state of Ohio? And not that because Ohio State has offered him. It's Ohio State wants him.
Wants is a difference. Yeah, big difference.
Okay?
Yeah.
A hard offer. They want him. Regardless of NIL, take NIL away from this. They want him. Okay, and can they go to Ohio State and get that kid? Maybe in 5 years they'll be able to. Maybe, but up until that point, you're a projection school, and that's okay. The whole Hokie fans get so pissed off at me when I say that, but guess what? Frank Beamer made a career out of it, and he's got a Hall of Fame plaque, and that's how it was done. Now, you take Michael Vick, and now we're playing in the national championship game.
Right.
Okay. Prior to Michael Vick, we're winning conference championships. We're having 10 and 11 win seasons. But now you get the one kid that can take your program into that national championship game. And that's the key. And, by the way, when Chris Cole was a junior, the spring of his junior year, in the spring, 247 had the 30. When I had to do this for Greg Roberts, when he was a junior and the 247 rankings came out, he said, Phil, you rank him. So I took the 247 list. Chris Cole was the 30th player ranked in the state his junior year by 247. I had him as number one, period.
And so did Georgia.
After his junior year, before all the hype became real, before it became real for the kid, they had him the 30th rated player in the state in his junior year after his junior year going into his senior year in the spring. And that's fact. I told Greg when I did the show, I said, I would come out of coaching, give me 1 day to coach. As a matter of fact, when Salem played Liberty Christian in their opener his senior year. I drove up to watch that game. I wanted to see, they had about 3 or 4 great players on both teams, and he was one of them. And Chuck Baker and Justin Ditmore were doing the high school game of the week on the radio, so I drove up there to see that game. And that's the only high school game I'd seen since I retired from coaching. But I wanted to see this kid, and oh my God, he was the real deal. And so that's what I'm talking about. Where, whether it's LSU, whether it's Alabama, whether it's Ohio State, whether it's Georgia or Florida, can they come to the state of Virginia and the number one player that Virginia Tech wants, can they get him? Like a Chris Cole? Yes, they can. Can James Franklin go down to Alabama and get the number one player that Alabama wants, or the number one player in Georgia? Hopefully they'll be able to do that. And when they do that, they'll get back into the national picture. They'll end up back into the top 8 in the country, top 10, top 8. Because there's only, I call it the 15% club. It's a unique club. It's Ohio State, it's Alabama, it's Georgia. And it's usually, it's the universities of. So that's the difference. And the projection schools were way more fun. They were more fun, and they were more gratifying. Don't tell me going to Wisconsin, we did not have a player. We beat Michigan and Ohio State. Not one, not a player. And we lost 2 Big Ten games in the 2 years. They were both to Michigan and Tom Brady, that asshole, as I call him. So just because we had the better team, but they had the better pitcher. And that's why I call him that with great respect, because he was something else. He beat us.
How much does the money enhance that position those schools already have? Like, you made a great point. I think people need to understand, if they really want somebody, they're not losing them. A kid might say, hey, I have this school listed, or a kid will commit somewhere. Hey, he chose somewhere over Georgia and Alabama. Well, then they really didn't want him, did they? If that's the case.
No question. No question. Or more importantly, Rick, I think more importantly is the retention. The retention. Mm-hmm. Georgia's going to lose kids. Yeah. Hopefully they get – here's what LSU, when Nick got to LSU, I've said this numerous times. Bobby Bowden went into Catholic high school, got more work done than Peter Warwick. This high school is 10 minutes from the campus of Baton Rouge.
Right.
Catholic high. When Nick got in there, any LSU, any Louisiana kid that signed with another program other than LSU, we did not want. We got them all. He got them all. One of the things that Les Miles, one of the fireable offenses, not but 1 out of the 10 was Nick at Alabama started going into West Monroe, which is a huge LSU high school feeder program. Brady James, great linebacker for the Cowboys, played at West Monroe as an LSU player. Andrew Whitworth, the kid I signed, Hall of Fame offensive lineman, great player. He went into West Monroe and started getting kids. And he went into Louisiana and started pulling kids. They're top kids. So that was one of the reasons. But the key is with those programs, Rick, is the retention. Once you become a starter at Georgia or Alabama or Ohio State, okay, where are they leaving? I'm starting offensive lineman for Ohio State. I'm going to leave and go where?
Yeah, right. You're going to get more money.
Where, Rick? Right.
Nowhere. Why would you leave, right? Who's going to pay you more to keep you, right?
So that's my point. It's not, I've always said right now with the developmental players, and you look at those great programs like Georgia particularly, and I know Kirby Smart well enough with his NFL experiences and being with Nick for all those years, your base of your program is going to be coming out of the high schools. Your portal is the junior college, the needs, the position needs. unless I bring an offensive lineman coming in January, where he's going to start, he can start as a freshman, or am I going to go get a portal kid as an offensive lineman that has started?
Right.
Or like Virginia went and got the UAB center. The center their center was from University of Alabama, Birmingham.
Right.
And I think he made all conference or second team or whatever.
Yeah.
So what would you rather do? Go get a freshman or go get a UAB lineman that can come in and play and help you win 11 games?
That's right. Makes your team
and
better.
And then now that he's done that and he's starting for Virginia, you're going to pay him. So he's not leaving. He's got value. And I'm gonna make sure. And then you start getting that reputation. Hey, once you go to Georgia or once you go to wherever, and the recruiting is, hey, look, they're going to talk. Players are going to talk. They're going to talk. Some of them are going to talk about outside of this scholarship. And they'll say, hey, look, you do the job here, you're going to get paid. You start here and you contribute. You stay off a list. You do the right thing. You're a great citizen. You're a great student. They will pay you here. And don't you kid yourself. Those players are going to talk, and that's going to be a reputation.
Yeah, fans want to think that these kids are different than they would be. Are you going to take a job for less money, or are you going to stay in a job for more, or go to another job for more? As opposed, and fans think that the kids are different. Well, they shouldn't be doing this. It's all about where they are, right? No, why would they stay for less money? It just.
But there's no such thing as less money at Ohio State.
Well, right, that's right.
There's no such thing, Rick.
Yeah, Alabama.
There's no such thing as less money. If you're starting, let me know. Anybody on chat or go Google AI, let me know what starter at Ohio State has left the program. Outside of academics or DUI,
unless they were kicked out or something.
Yeah, they wanted them to leave for whatever reasons. And then you look at, and when you look at the, like I said, 50% of the portal kids are being told to leave. It's so you can you go to if UAB wins 9 games, they couldn't have done that in the pre-portal days. To flip that around. That's one thing I was always proud of. The Virginia Tech schools, we had 10 wins was the most Virginia had prior to this year ever in the history of the program. At that time, 10 wins at Virginia Tech was the most wins in the 90s when we started it. And I was so proud of that. And, then Frank went on this terror of, consecutive 10, 11 win season, which is great.
You were going to win 10 games. Yeah.
But I'm so proud of that because we had to do it the hard way. There was no portal. We had to do it in the roster and with high school freshmen if we were deficient or a junior college kid. That was it. And that was at both schools. So, is it harder today? Yeah, it's harder. But the money isn't going to guarantee you that you're going to have a great program. It is not. Just look at the failures, as I've said. It just gives you the opportunity. You have a chance to step foot in that house. Okay, you can go into that home and say, we have the resources to compete. And this is why I'm here. And your value with your talents is something we can compete with anybody that we're recruiting. So.
No, I'm with you. What did you think yesterday, how quickly Coach Foster answered the question about the quintessential player? I barely finished the question, and he said Vince Hall.
Yeah,
it was just like, oh, it's Vince Hall.
Yeah.
And he described the kind of guy that was. Did that surprise you at all?
No, not at all. I'll tell you, I was watching, it was a great segment.
Yeah,
and it was funny.
Terrific.
Rick, of all the players that in my career, there's about a handful of them, the guys that we won games with that we weren't supposed to, were the walk-ons. the Scott Jones, the kid from Bristol at Virginia Tech, 5th-year senior walk-on. I think he got scholarship his last year, and he had never played. And we lost Drakeford. I started a freshman in front of him. And we lost Tyrone Drakeford in the pit game. So he was a number 2 guy. He was a backup. And after the pit game, we lost him the second game. We had to go play Miami, and he had to start. And he started the rest of the year. And he was voted the outstanding defensive back of the 93 squad. And we had Tyrone Drakeford, who was a second-round pick. They voted him the outstanding defensive back for the team. And those are the players that, for me, they're priceless memories. Priceless. And there were numerous, many stops. Hey, by the way, when you get Steele on,
yeah, that'd be next Tuesday. Yeah.
Ask him this question, Rick. When you ask him about how many the percentages of, basically draft choices to portal kids, I think in the Ohio State, you're going to have more draft choices than you're going to have portal kids. They're not going to bring in 30 kids. They're not doing an overall. The right. Georgias, they're not, I don't think. But ask him, the big question is, Rick, is how many of the kids that are coming in, let's say this 2025 class or the 2026 class, whatever, how many of them mid-years? How many are coming in January? That's right. The key to that's the key to the drill for high school players.
For a high school player, yep.
Because I know at one point in time, Coach Saban, over half his high school classes were mid-years. And this was back in the mid-2000s. Because when I was at Coastal, I had one of the analysts that was with the kids. I said, get Coach Saban's roster over the last 3 years, and I want to go look and research the mid-years. And it was over 50% of his freshman class back in the 2000s, 2016, 17, 15, 14 were mid-years, especially the offensive line and especially the quarterback. That's changed recruiting to me. And he changed that. He got them in mid-years. That's the question I would ask.
I will. Yeah, you have to remind me on Monday to ask him that on Tuesday.
I'll text you. But just the fact that, I'm always curious to know, like when I evaluate these high school kids for Greg's show and or for you, I'll always say, if this kid's a mid-year, he'll be on the field as a freshman. If he's not a mid-year, he'll probably be a redshirt, particularly in the offensive line, or definitely a quarterback for sure.
Well, you and I talked about something, and I think people are going to get excited. You're going to start doing the same type of breakdown every week during the tech season that you do on Greg's show, aren't you? That's going to be a lot of fun. We can't wait for that.
Yeah, I threw that out to you during the season because I'm already going to have the work done. I hate it. I don't know if the PFF, I'm going to ask Todd, has the updated games. I don't have privy to, game tape and things of that nature. And I don't know the people at Coastal that can go over there anymore. But what I usually do, I'll either watch a game on TV, and as I do, I'll take it off as if I'm in the press box as we go, and then I'll look at the statistics. And the statistics that I've always cared about, and what are those things that determine the outcome of a game? Which obviously turnovers, third downs, those two things. You have +2 in turnover. If you're a +2 team in turnover, you're winning 80% of your games. That was a 10-year NFL study. Just +2. 2 more turnovers. Amazing. You can win 80% of your games.
Yeah. Well,
and the third downs, the battle of third downs. And then the other big thing is not the rush yards, but the rushing attempts. When you get into the 40-plus rushing attempt, when you look at teams, and Bud will tell you, when they played Donovan McNabb and they held them to minus, and this is where I got it from. When they'd put 50 on them, but they 40-plus rushing attempts. When they got their ass kicked by Syracuse, because they had 40-plus rushing attempts. When they beat Syracuse's ass, there were 25 less rushing attempts.
Right.
So it's so that's another thing I'll look at, and it's why the whys, why did Virginia Tech not win this game?
Yeah.
And then so I do a deep dive breakdown, and I'll watch the condensed highlight tape off the YouTube to see where the big plays occurred and why. And then, a lot of times on the TV copy, I'll always watch the interior linebacker type. And like I said, over the last couple of years, probably the one position at Virginia Tech that was so inconsistent was the play of their linebacker, let alone their talent. Their talent was one thing, but the decisions they were making were so inconsistent. And I verified that one time. I called Bud. I said, Bud, this conversation will stay with me. I'll talk to you about it now. But if I'm going to talk to somebody, even when I'm on your show, I will never say, hey, I talked to Bud and he confirmed. I will never do that. I'll just tell you what I see.
What you think,
But I did want to confirm this, because this is 2 years ago. I said, Bud, Jesus, the linebacker play is horrendous in terms of decision making. Their gap controls. He concurred. He concurred, and he's there. He's watching. I'm sure on Sundays he's going in and looking at the games.
Yeah, I'm sure he is. Yeah,
I would think.
I hope so.
So that's my point. So I'll do that, and then Friday, if you want, we can do the opponent, the team that they're playing. The next, what's the strengths, what the weaknesses, the matchups, things of that nature.
Yeah, I want to see. It'll be interesting to hear you talk about VMI. First one's going to be a challenge for you. We'll see how that goes.
Well, you know what? It'll be interesting. Like I said, I'd rather be in Virginia opening up with NC State, because your preseason now is not going to be pulling teeth. These kids are human. Okay, they're human. All right? We'll see how good Coach Franklin is, and it's not the matter they have to beat them by 60. Okay, that means listen. There's games that you can win and games that you can lose. We lost to UAB at LSU in Baton Rouge, and they were not a good football team. And we ended up going on a 3-game winning streak in the SEC after that loss. We beat Tennessee, Mississippi State, and Kentucky. And I really believe if we had won that game, I think we'd have beaten Tennessee the next week. That was our wake-up call. Huge wake-up call. And remember, on the first years, George Welch's first year when he went 1-10, they lost to JMU. Okay? They lost to JMU. Nick Saban's first year at Alabama, he lost to University of Louisiana Monroe.
That's right.
Okay? And, got there in Birmingham. And so, Coach Fry lost to ODU. I mean, and listen, VMI, no, if I was the head coach of VMI, I'd probably start everybody in that program that has pissed me off and you're not coming out of the game. There was an old coach in Middle Tennessee State named Boots Donnelly, and he was one of those characters, kind of like a Lee Corso kind of guy, personality. So he's in a press conference. He got to open up in Florida State when they were in their heyday, And somebody said, Coach Donnelly, how you what in your preparations for Florida State? What's some of your priorities? He goes, I plan on starting every player that's really pissed me off in this program, and they're not coming out of the game.
It's such a just opening the Franklin era with VMI is such a
there's a little history there. I think it's kind of exciting. I mean, one time VMI cost Bill Dewey the Peach Bowl. Beat him 6-0 in Blacksburg. in
Right.
1980-81. Cost them the Peach Bowl on a CBS national TV game. It was like 10 degrees. VMI came out and beat them. But, that's not going to happen.
No.
But I always say this. You look, the ODU, second games are where most are improving. That's a coaching. That's not a cliche. It's a fact. In my experience, particularly, I can tell you that's a fact. Win or lose, that second game is where your improvements are going to be really as large. You're going to improve during the year. It's about the largest improvements going to occur between first and second games. That's your biggest. Now, so then the Maryland game to me is going to be the game that you're going to find out, because you look at both teams and both programs and where they're at. They got, Virginia Tech's got a lot of momentum right now. Loxley's going to be fighting for his job. Franklin's not fighting for his job, but both programs are in very similar situations to this day.
That's the
today
game right there. Yep.
They haven't won. Neither one of them have played a game yet. They're both undefeated, but the 2025 seasons were disasters. Their programs were not very good. So now, which one can take that lead? That game is going to be critical for both.
I agree.
And Maryland, they're going to be fighting for their lives, their livelihoods, I should say. So.
Yep, 100%.
Hey, one second thing I wanted to share with you is funny. When you asked Bud about best quarterbacks, and he talked about Donovan McNabb. Do you know it? It's funny. I told you last night on the show, Bertie Kosar was my first big-time quarterback I ever coached against. But here's the kicker. Been in the Big Ten with numerous programs, Minnesota, Purdue, Wisconsin. And let me tell you, in 1984, Rick, do you know who the quarterbacks in the Big Ten were at that? This is my second year of coaching.
Whew, 84. I'd have to do a lot of thinking about, I can't tell you who the Michigan quarterback was in 84.
Well, guess who it was? Jim Harbaugh.
Was it Jim Harbaugh that early? Okay.
Oh, yeah, Jim Harbaugh. So here I am. I'm coaching against Jim Harbaugh, Chuck Long at Iowa.
Chuck Long. I remember Chuck Long.
Okay.
Yeah. Number 16.
Jim Everett at Purdue.
Yep.
Okay. Jack Trudeau at Illinois. And Mike Tomczak. And Mike Tomczak at Ohio State.
Ohio State, yeah.
5 NFL quarterbacks. At a time where it was just starting to transition from run to passing game. And the Big Ten had those 5 quarterbacks.
It's pretty good for that time. That was pretty good, huh, for that time. Yeah.
Then I'm at Wisconsin. It's Brady and Breeze and Randall L. So you look at the Big Ten, there's 8 quarterbacks in my tenures there. And you know what's the next best conference of quarterbacks was? The MAC.
The MAC, yeah, they did.
Ben Roethlisberger.
Roethlisberger leading the way, yeah.
There was a kid named Charlie Fry from Akron who started at Cleveland for a couple of games, and then we had Byron Leftwich.
Yeah.
So the MAC had it was an amazing run, and then of course I launched Peyton Manning's career. So that's
right. Well, good stuff as always, Coach. Thanks for jumping on last night, man. That was fun.
That was fun. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Good guys. Well, listen, you take care, and appreciate you having me on.
No, thanks as always. Have a great weekend, man. You look great in the Big Dog shirt. Just saying.
Oh yeah, I'm going to the weight room today. This is it.
There
baby.
you go.
The Big Dog shirt.
Yeah, there you go. Let me know how it holds up. Maybe we can sell some of them.
Oh hell yeah! I'm in.
All right, brother.
All right, boss.
All right, man. There you go. Coach Elmo here on the program. Great to see him. As always, holding court. But I wanted him to elaborate on that, what projection schools as opposed to others. It's not a criticism, just he's spewing facts. He only did that for over 40 years. He may know what the hell he's talking about. Family Fencing, sponsor of our studios, 540-200-8294. Get a free quote today. Don't forget that we're presented each and every day by Pulaski County Sports Entertainment. Thanks to Jonathan Sweet And Tim Miller, don't forget about the event coming up, the water skiing event in early August. Things going on at the racetrack, and, of course, the Sportsplex. And also, don't forget Professional Door. 40 years is celebrating here in July. 40 years. Reach out to them today. Get $40 off your preventative maintenance visit. Tell them you heard us talking about it. 674-0008. 674-0008. Joining us now on the program, it's that gentleman, Mike Ashley, who unfortunately could not make it to the bash last Saturday. But you were talked about a lot, even though you weren't there. What's up, Michael?
Yeah, my ears were burning, but I got to go see a doctor about that. So,
yeah, I've told you about that. You won't get it checked.
Well, I'm glad. I heard great things about the party. I really do wish I could have been there, and
That's good.
I wish I could get down there more often. But it's just been one of those things here lately.
Yeah. Well, how have you been? I know it's been kind of you and I have talked. We both kind of had weeks this week, to say the least.
Yeah. No, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Yeah, nothing a little bourbon last night couldn't cure.
As always.
I even got the good stuff this time, but that's a whole nother thing. Anyway, yeah, and I hope you're well, my friend, too. And,
yeah, we're trying.
And our wonderful viewership out there.
Yeah.
Although, again, I think I preferred radio.
Yeah, well, I get it. I did, too, for a long time. What do you think about everything that's going on at ESPN? That's not part of your open mic, is it, or is it?
No. It's, well, you and I briefly we touched on this. It's just kind of frightening. The whole, like a lot of businesses, you just see a lot of change right now, downsizing everywhere. I Carl Ravage, man, it's going to be hard to watch baseball without him. It's just, he's become the voice there, especially the way ESPN has predominated coverage. So, who's Ryan Clark? I kind of liked him. I kind of liked his perspective as well.
I did not.
Well, as a general manager, I thought he brought something different than all the other guys did. You didn't have to agree with what he was
racism.
Guys.
Blatant racism,
how early
yes.
do we get into this here? Yeah.
He's already saying that's the only reason he was fired. He's going off telling everybody that's why he was fired.
Well, yeah. How many talking heads do you need?
That's the
how
thing.
many guys need to sit around the round table and give you their opinion? And I'd rather just have the good ones. I remember when it was just Ron Jaworski seemed like breaking down everything all the time. And
what do you think of McAfee? What do you think of Pat McAfee? Like, I'm not bothered by Pat McAfee. And look, kudos to him for the niche he's created. But I don't ever feel like I have to watch him. Does that make sense? Like, he doesn't bother me, but I don't feel like, I got to check out McAfee today.
That's why I don't have a strong opinion, because whenever I turn it on and hear what's going on, I just never find anything that engages me. So I'm surf right by. And you got to give that guy a lot of credit for creating this niche that he's got in reaching younger viewers and maybe bring them back to sports. But, the landscape is changing so much. I thought, because ESPN is actually always pushing gambling now. It's it's hard for me to get used to. And I remember at the when I was wrapping up at Maryland, I was you could tell that there was some of my editors were pushing me to get more information in there that was more gambler friendly. Now, I thought that overlapped a little bit with what you're doing anyway, because you need to talk about injuries, but because of the gambling situation getting bigger, it was harder to get that information. I remember the first time you heard upper body injury, lower body injury. Okay, well, could somebody tell me exactly what that means? Because we all like to visualize and know. Is this guy going to be limping on his pass route,
right.
or what are we talking about here? And it just complicated things a little bit for people who considered themselves objective reporters of what was going on. And that's been a big change. I don't know how I got from McAfee to that, but I'm just saying that the business has changed an awful lot. And I'll tell you the other thing is there's just there are less reliable sources out there to get
100% right
objective coverage, to go out there and find it. I hate it because I've still got friends that work at the Roanoke Times, but I just saw no point in continuing to get it. And it's not a slap at them, but the people in Wisconsin or wherever the hell it is that edit the paper that don't know anything about Roanoke or the New River Valley or anything. There's just it's just not our paper anymore. It's very sad. We need some local rich guy to buy that. I wish that was me. But
yeah, I do too.
It's not.
I
always wanted to buy the Salem baseball team. That's what I really wanted to own. Sit in the owner's box there, you know.
Oh yeah, I can
go
see
down,
you.
go down,
yeah,
and go down and make sure the Roanoke Times guy quoted me like Jerry Jones after every.
You'd have your chapeau on. Oh yeah, you would be perfect.
Traveled exotic ports of call like Lynchburg and
cigar.
Yeah,
you'd have
Frederick,
your cigar.
Fredericksburg now. The Fred Nats. Yeah.
I
would like to hear from people though. I'm told the quality of play has dropped off in the Carolina League because the way they've condensed minor league baseball, we've lost some levels now, and reliable sources tell me that the level of play isn't as good as it once was, and it once was pretty dang good. It's funny because I just was reading about Chipper Jones, and I was at Chipper Jones' first paid professional game. The Durham Bulls opened in Salem that year, so there was Chipper Jones, the first round draft pick. Right there in Salem, and I like to say I was ahead of trends. I think I started the first Chipper chant.
I don't think I've ever asked you this question. You're a Reds lifer. Who's your all-time favorite Red of that great team? Is there one?
Yeah, there was, and he broke my heart. Pete Rose.
Okay, I didn't know if it was Pete or not, but we're going to talk about Pete the player.
He lied to me for so long. And I mean. Yeah. I remember the big feature in Sports Illustrated I read back in the 70s about, what an absolute turd he was as a human being, which I hate to say too. But the thing I admired, I mean, and think about this in today's culture of sports. Pete Rose looked at the team and went, if I move to third, George Foster's bat gets in the lineup every day. And yeah, I have never played third, I'm an all-star, but I'm going to do this because it's going to make this team much better. And he did. And I remember Pete catching balls off his chest all the time, drop in front of him, and then he throws the guy out. And, he was a second baseman and an outfielder. And then he eventually played first base too, but he had never played third. And that's a hell of a thing to make a change like that as an all-star player that can kind of dictate your career, not as much then as now, but that was what got me on board with him. Plus the MVP season he had. That's sort of was that 74, the coming of age season, and yeah, that season will come up here in a minute.
Well, I never was a Reds fan. My dad was, but Johnny Bench, the greatest catcher of all time, I was always amazed at his ability to hit.
It is.
Throw out runners. I mean, just so good. He was so good. People don't understand how good Johnny Bench was.
Right, but I remember him mostly as the thing that happens with catchers, they start to wear down. He was not the same hitter later in his career, although he did have that great World Series against the Yankees. And yeah, he was great. But then you forget about the quiet leadership of Tony Perez and how things really crumbled when they traded him for Woody Fryman. What
are you doing? Why? You cut the heart out of the team. I know.
Yeah. And
Woody
Joe Morgan had a couple of MVP seasons in there, and it was really the linchpin batting of all those great bats. He's batting third. And then Concepcion's career took off later, where he became a guy. I remember him as an all-star MVP, and you get Ken Griffey Sr. and Cesar Geronimo.
Danny Dreesen was good too.
Yeah, he was, and he was before the DH, although he did get there in the World Series when they were started that. But that was an incredible line. I put him up with at that part of the team with the 27 Yankees. Now they didn't have the same kind of pitching staff or anything like that. And Don Gullett was your ace. I think he won He was like 11-3 that year. He was injured, but then came back for the playoffs in the World Series when they dominated. So, but again, I was kind of tied in with the Pirates then too. John Candelaria, who I'd seen pitch in Salem,
The Candyman
was a rookie that had he pitched a great game against the Reds in the playoffs. Didn't win, but and then I found out before my time, so many of those Pirates came through Salem, and I love to go back and read about that and those great teams. Dave Parker was in the outfield my first game I ever saw, and then of course I remember the tragedy with Alfredo Edmeade and Miguel De Launay colliding with Pablo Cruz, the second baseman. Edmeade was lost, and he was like one of the number one prospects in the organization, and people just forget about him now. He never comes up.
Wasn't Don Gullett number 35? Wasn't Gullett 35?
He might have been.
I think Gullett was 35. Anyway. Hey, people in chat are saying if Mike owned Salem baseball, they sure as hell wouldn't be called the Ridjacks.
The only thing I could figure about that, I may have said this when we talked about it before, was you do that as like a marker you put down. Okay, we're gonna call it this, and we're gonna sell some stuff, and I gotta get a hat. I don't have a Ridjacks hat to put up with my other hats over here, and then in 2 years you change the name because it is ridiculous.
It's terrible, terrible.
Yes,
they tried so hard to defend that for so long, but no. There's no way merch is moving for the Ridjacks. There's no way. Just not happening. Not happening.
All right. How's Pulaski doing?
We were just talking about that in chat. The App League is just it's regressed so badly without the Major League affiliation. It's just bad college baseball is basically what it is. It's just attendance is down. I know quite a bit in Pulaski. People tell me that work there. You see some of the videos. It's sad to see. Calvi was always full and almost sold out and loud, and it's just not the same. And the Major League Baseball destroyed about 8 of those leagues like that at the same time. It's all on Manfred. It's all on him and baseball for what they did. No question.
That was such a fun place to go after they refurbished it. Redid the ballpark there, and it was really good. And one of my best memories though is came up a month ago because it was Larry Benson's birthday, and Larry was a midweek sometime pitcher for the Highlanders back in the early 90s, which means he wasn't in the regular rotation, didn't really get to pitch much of weekends, and then you run out of arms. So in the middle of the week, that's one thing people don't really know about college baseball is weird stuff happens. You get these weird scores sometimes, and teams can, an unranked team like Radford, we knocked off NC State where they were 14 in the country and played that, but they didn't want to play on campus. We had to play up there at Calfee. Right. And Larry Benson just baffled them for enough innings that we hung on. Dwayne Filchner got some big hits, and we knocked in. And then I had to leave Calfee as fast as I could and get to the office back in Radford so I could type my story and send it all out. So I didn't think we got the media splash because it took a little bit longer of that. But the point was Larry Benson had never had a game like this before, and he was tall, but he looked like, so his teammates called him Squiggy. Remember Squiggy?
Yeah, Lindy and Squiggy. Yeah.
Hello. Squiggy. So everybody's just talking about Squiggy, and so every year at his birthday, I on Facebook I wish Squiggy a happy birthday and tell him we'll always have NC State and Calfee Park.
All right. So what are we opening miking about today?
Well, the thing I love about sports, it's the language that we all share. And win or lose, you get out of bed the next day, unless you're Apollo Creed. Sorry, Rick, but he was fiction.
Oh, that hurts, Apollo. I'm sorry.
I know. I actually wish that that boxing was as good as it was back then.
Yeah.
But sports have always made my life easier. That's one thing I can definitely say about it. It's if you're wearing licensed apparel, well, it's a conversation starter. We're off to the races. I talk to a lot of people that way, and it's made my life better. And added bonus, absolutely confounded my wife. I met a guy up here in Fairfax, not only wearing a Mets hat, a rarity in these parts, but also walking a dog, more common ground. We struck up a conversation about 10 years ago that was ongoing whenever we saw each other around the neighborhood. Turns out he was a New York high school player of some repute, enough to show up at a Mets tryout camp and get a long look before getting optioned into government work and landing here in D.C. I guessed he was a second baseman, purely based on his Jose Altuve, Dustin Pedroia build, and he scoffed at me. He was undersized first baseman, but understood why I guessed he was a middle infielder. Next thing I knew, he started asking me to Washington Nationals games here, where he had season tickets. He had 2 cars in his driveway, and both had Nats vanity plates. Bang Zoom, the home run call of former radio voice Charlie Slows, Bang Zoom, and another plate was Stowe's standard for a Washington win. That's a curly W. He has a curly W and Bang Zoom. So he was one of the most dedicated fans I know up here. I had fun with Steve in the third deck at the charm-free Nats Park and enjoyed meeting his friends and found my zeal for keeping score at games renewed. Just something about guys, baseball, hot dogs, and beer, I guess. We hadn't been to a game this year because of our schedules, me all over the Mid-Atlantic and Steve's heavy lineup of doctor visits. Another thing Steve and I shared was prostate cancer. Mine got caught early, and I got off easy as I learned so much about that disease. Steve wasn't so lucky. He was diagnosed during the pandemic, and doctors just couldn't get him started in a game plan then, as we all tried to figure out how to maintain during that absolute weird time that doesn't even seem like it really happened anymore. Steve finally got on chemo. I took him to some appointments and agonized alongside him, and then he did some clinical trials, but it was too late in the game. He did get to spring training last year, always his passion, even after his wife had passed away. And sadly, one of the last face-to-face conversations we had was about doctors telling him not to go this spring. He hadn't returned my last 3 phone calls or numerous texts, so I was scared something had happened. His cars weren't at his house, and I drove by and saw his neighbor, Tom. His son plays baseball at Maryland, so we're all on the same team. He told me while I was traveling a few weeks ago, Steve went into hospice care and was now out of our lineup. I'm at an age when this is happening way too frequently. I really don't like losing guys, really anyone, but especially those with whom I share so many references. Who else am I going to complain to about Bud Harrelson picking on Pete Rose? Bud and Pete are gone now, and now so is my friend Steve. And I can't help but think if he got a better jump on the cancer, or if it hadn't come at the beginning of COVID, he'd still be here. As a cancer survivor, I was lucky, one of the luckiest people ever. I discovered early just because I was peeing too much. And I'm telling this story because I know we've got a lot of viewers in our demographic. So if you have a similar problem and something just isn't right, don't delay. Lay down like a World Cup soccer player on the pitch and ask for medical attention. I know Steve is plenty tall enough to play first base in heaven, and I hope that sort of thing happens there all the time. Now I look forward to slipping back up to the 300 level seatings next game I go to, and first talking with Steve's ballpark buddies and reminiscing about our friend, how you couldn't talk to him while he was scoring the play, and you better get up and give the stadium cheer like he always did when the home team scored. N-A-T-S, Nats, Nats, Nats. The National Cancer Institute website is a great resource for anyone looking for more information on all types of this insidious disease. And screening isn't just a great third down play. So.
Well, first of all, it's very, very good, as always. But yeah, I think it's funny you say that. I think about it all the time. I just want, like, heaven to be, hey, who else playing today? And we just go out. We're either playing basketball or we're at a baseball. Yeah, we're throwing the football around. You know, that's all you want it to be.
Dad, want to have a catch?
Yeah, just let's go out and play some ball, man. Let's go, guys. Let's go. Let's go.
I tell you, the first time I had that thought about athletes in heaven was in regard to a Highlander basketball guard, Tommy Walthall. A lot of people may remember from Joe Davis's 1975 Miracle Glenver High School team. Yeah, Tommy was a great point guard. For a while, held a lot of the assist records at Radford. And by the time I got there, his senior year in 1981, he Joe was still putting him out there, but Tommy was wearing one of those Joe Namath type braces, if you could imagine. It was so big. I don't know how he got it into Peters Hall to play back then. But when Tommy passed, again, way too early, all I could think about was he's getting to play pickup now again. Jumping, running, the whole thing.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. All right, my friend. Well, listen, have a great weekend, and there's no following Mike Ashley, so we just
I please consider this an upper. I please, and like I said, if you know someone that that's having any of these issues, make them go see a doctor. So, they get to stay in the game longer, because that's what we all want. So, and Goober says, hey. And
all right. Well, hey to Goober. All right, brother. Take care. There you go. Mike Ashley, great stuff from Mike. That had to be tough. I know he lost his friend. He was telling me about that earlier in the week. Mike's the best, and very emotional there. He's right. We cannot be stubborn when it comes to that. I'm preaching to my own choir there. I need to be better about it. You get to the mindset, what you don't know, maybe it won't hurt you. But that's not the way it works. It's not the way it works. We have Jen coming up here in just a little bit. What's up, Christopher Lester? Missed you last night on Pop. Creed is wanting out. Let me go grab him, and I'll be back. Talk amongst yourselves. All right. No sax today. I don't think. We'll ask her. She doesn't even talk about it anymore. She just doesn't. She doesn't talk about it anymore. I don't know. Maybe we scared her off. Not sure. Maybe we did. What's funny is when I have people actually go, do you think she actually plays the saxophone? Yeah, she does. Yeah, I know that for a fact. First time I met her, she was playing the saxophone. Yep. We'll ask her that now. It was great. She jumped in chat last night. That was fun. Pop was fun last night. It's been fun all the time. Yeah, maybe we should. Maybe we should hold that off. Yeah, okay, that's a good question. Remind me, Wayne. And I know she's getting ready to come on, but I'll still forget. Kicked us to the curb, indeed. You know who didn't kick us to the curb? The NRV Super Bowl. As a matter of fact, they welcomed us with open arms last Saturday at the Bash. Thanks to Terry and Amanda. 540-382-5525. They were terrific. And boogie bowling. Get over there. It's just a great, chill environment. Again, I didn't see one person who had any stress. You can't be in a bowling alley and feel anything but happiness. Especially, right, Brandon? Right? When you're bowling a 186. Sundown Electric. Excellent reputation, one of the long list of in a long list of satisfied clients down in Elliston, thanks to the Smith brothers. Reach out to them. They are terrific. Community oriented, and that's why they support this program. Bob Chris, speaking of community oriented, the Ready Set Fund, ReadySetFund.com, BOBCRST11 @gmail. Reach out to Bob and let him explain to you how a series of text messages can help your organization earn money quickly. Professional Door Incorporated is trying to help you save money. You have a week left from today, $40 off your preventative maintenance visit. All you have to do is tell them that you heard us talking about it on the show. Reach out to them at 674-0008. Again, 674-0008. You can schedule it for whenever you want. If you have a garage door, it makes no sense to call on anybody else who's going to not do a job as good as they do and going to charge you more money. National Bank member FDIC, exclusive banking partner of me in this program. Thanks to Lara Ramsey and Company. The Ryan Pry Attorney, 701 West Main Street in Radford. BDST fan question of the week. This week's winner, the Houston Texans. We're going to do Brandon's question next week. You'll have to remind me what it is. Trust in estate planning. And don't remind me today, Brandon. Remind me next week because I'll forget. Little River Heating and Air, 1095 Radford Street in Christiansburg. Charles Lee, look for the blue and black vehicles. They will come and make sure speaking of preventative maintenance, make sure your air is in good shape. Pulaski County Sports Entertainment, we're presented by those folks each and every day. Thanks to them. And they'll be back as our presenting sponsor in year 2 of the program, which is great news. Lawson's Mobile Home Supply. That's James Lawson, 300 North Franklin Street in Christiansburg, 540-381-8011. Appreciate James for all of his support. Family Fencing, sponsor of our studio, our very first sponsor here. 28294 is their number for a quote. And Mark Hunley, McClellan Chiropractic. Mark, making people feel better on a daily basis. 155 Walters Drive. 155 Walters Drive. Sandbagger. Wayne says, Brandon, Rick has a tattoo of his score and your score on his lower back now. Wayne, what are you doing peeking? How did you know? I mean, what? You're just a voyeur? Is that what we're finding out, Wayne? Just imagine his score if he'd had his own ball and shoes. You mean like Randy Thompson? Wait, Randy. Did everybody check out Randy's bowling shoes? You know, the guy who was hitting 200 every game at least. He had a bad game. I think he had a 203 or something, 207. It was like, man, I'm not feeling it tonight. Okay. He's a league guy. They're doing leagues now, by the way. Men, women, and mixed leagues at the Super Bowl. 382-5525. You showed me, Rick. Don't play coy. Yeah, I had it done. I had it done by one of the axe throwers before I left that night. I was so excited. Did anybody else notice the 2 young ladies who were throwing the axes at the very end of the night? They were, wow, boom, boom, boom. They were hitting the target, man. I'm glad we didn't meander over there, though. Probably not a good thing. But Rick chose house gear to stay connected to us common folk. That was fun. That was fun. That was a lot of fun. That was an unexpected, successful couple of games I rolled there. The way I rolled the first game, Brandon's how I kind of thought I'd be all night long. But I didn't know I would just miraculously improve so tremendously as I did. And what that is just all that suppressed natural athletic superiority coming through. Thanks everybody in the professional door text line. Yes, Dwight was on fire last night. He was. He kind of lets a little more loosely on Pop. Yeah. He talked about another element of it that, I don't know, is concern the right word, or is it, I have a real curiosity about the makeup of the coaching staff. How's that? And we'll see how that parlays itself. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Walk us through what it was like reaching 186. First of all, I had no idea. I just knew as I was rolling, by the way, the 5 successive strikes, as Brandon just sat completely and utterly defeated in his chair watching. I didn't know the score. I was just thinking, oh, this is cool. I actually bowled 1 strike. Oh, here comes 2. Oh, my goodness, I have a turkey. So I just knew that the score was going to be pretty good because I kept rolling strikes. And then on the 4th one, it was one of those where I thought I hit it well. I guess it was the 10 pin was doing this. And then, sure enough, another pin caught just enough of it going by, and you saw it just tumble last. It was like one of those scenes you see during, I don't know if there's been a scene now that I think about it. But anyway, so then the 5th one, I hit it great, and they all fell down pretty quickly, and I'm thinking, I'm going to finish this thing out. So that's when I held up the ball and looked at Brandon. I said, this one's for you, Coach Franklin. And then I left 4 pins. And then at the end, it said 186. And I was like, whoa. And then you saw Brandon running over. He couldn't wait to clear it off the machine. I was getting the camera. Like, wow. Oh. Completely gone. Completely gone. My volume low? Let me see here. How's that? I can turn it up here if I need to. This thing's pretty loud on the board, so. Now this is where you go get pissed and stomp out of the interview like all the greats do. But yeah, I had no idea until the very end where I was score-wise. Because I was just having fun. Look, as long as I was hitting pins, I was good to go. And that was just luck. It was just fortune. Because Brandon and I both were having trouble. The ball was not kind to the digits. You know, we had to find one that was right to pop out of the old finger slots, as it were. Is the volume any better now? Jen is desperately looking for an exit to get off the required sax performance. Well, we'll ask. We're going to put some pressure on her. I like Wayne's idea. Let's see here. When would that be? When would the anniversary be? Let's see. Is it the 11th or the 18th that I started in August? Either way, it's a Tuesday. So maybe we can have Jen on Friday, August 14th. Maybe we can have her do the bash then, or do the get her to play then. Yeah. Yeah. By the way, thanks for showing up last night, Coach Maber. You were terrific on Pop, as always. Everybody was great last night. What's great about Pop is I don't really say much. I just sit there listening and adding little quips here and there. Yeah, I just kind of, like everybody else, I just enjoy. It was fun listening to Dwight last night. You can go back and watch. It's up on the channel if you missed it. We were on for about 3.5 hours last night. Just that was 6 hours of broadcasting yesterday. That's dedication to you, the community, and the listening public. It sounds fine in my headphones. I don't know. Let me see here. Let's see. Microphone. Oh, I just turned it off. Let's see. Test, test, test. Oh, there we go. That's louder. That's got to be louder. How's that? Is that better? That just popped in my ear, so that's got to be better. Yeah, yeah. If she doesn't play, I am singing Every Rose Has Its Thorn. Just warning. That's fine. Don't mind that, Wayne. Just don't want to hear any selections from Dave Matthews. Maybe Jen could cover Happy Anniversary Baby by the Little River Band. Hey, yeah. Happy anniversary, baby. Got you on my mind. Don't you believe the Little River Band is criminally underrated? I love the Little River Band. That dude had a great voice. Lady. Cool Change. Reminiscing. Lonesome Loser. Wow. Wait a minute. Do I love the Little River Band? Maybe I do. Maybe I do. LRB, baby. Like Little River Heating and Air. See? Anything named Little River is good. There you go. See, Wayne and I on the same. It no sooner leaves my lips than Wayne puts up Little River Band sponsored by Little River Heating and Air. They are a great band. That dude had some. He could sing. He knew how to sing. He knew how to. Yeah. Reminiscing is a great song. That is a great, great song. Oh my goodness gracious! Is that the first lady of chat? Is that Opal? Is that? Oh. Good morning, Opal. Where in the world have you been, young lady? Wayne and I Siamese twins. Well, maybe. He did know about my score, my bowling score tattoo. Opal, I hope all is well. I know your work schedule changed, but it's good to have you. Good to have you. Cool Change is my favorite. That's a good song. If there's one thing in my life it's missing, it's the time that I spend alone. You know, I can say that now as a married guy. Although I never really sailed on the cool and bright clear water. Uh-oh. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Opal. You okay now? Well, we're thinking about you. All you ever have to do is reach out to anybody here in the BDST community, and we got you. We got you. So I hope you're okay. I hope you're okay. By the way, I was watching an interview with Billy Joel. What's his name? Hang on. It's really good on YouTube. He's got a series of musicians. Rick Beato. Rick Beato. Beato. He did one with Billy. And at the end, he said, what song is the perfect song? Is there a song that's the perfect song? And without really any hesitation, Billy kind of looked up and immediately turned to the piano and started playing Wichita Lineman. There's a version of Wichita Lineman you can find that Billy does with Jimmy Webb, who wrote the song. Of course, it was made very popular by Glenn Campbell. We love you too, Opal, and we're thinking about you. But Billy immediately started playing and just goes, just think about these lyrics. And I've said that a lot through the years, and I do believe it. And I've said this a lot when we brought back the radio show. It is the quintessential song. Lyrically, musically. I mean, if you tell the woman you love or a woman you're courting, and I need you more than want you, and I want you for all time, you're not leaving that establishment alone that night. Yeah, I don't, that's on me, T-Bird. I don't know. Is that who it was? Was he the first guy who sang Reminiscing? Yeah, Glenn Shurock. Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. He co-founded the group in 75. I don't know this. I'm Googling it. Okay. Yeah. Me too. Me too. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate that. Just cut it 2 days ago. It was getting too shaggy. It was getting way too shaggy. Ooh, the other guy. I forgot about the other guy. Won't be around. I didn't like that one as much. But Reminiscing, yeah. Oh, John Farnham. He sang that one. Okay. Yeah, the original guy. I'm going to listen to Reminiscing on the way to work now when I leave here in a little bit. It's a great song. Great song. What's up, Dennis? Dennis on the text line. Agreed, Rick. I don't know why people can't discuss things without attacking or getting offended. When I mentioned earlier about yeah, it's bizarre reaction to things, isn't it? Nobody's dogging anybody. I think you have to look at it in every different facet instead of just being blinded by what you want it to be, right? Wayne says, I will get heat, but I think George Michael was so underrated as a singer. No, he was a terrific vocal talent. I agree. I agree, 100%. He had to deal with identity issues, right? Being marketed as a sex symbol for women, but he was homosexual, and that's why Freedom, that whole song, why that meant so much. Now, I'm with you, man. And when he sang with Queen at the Freddie Mercury tribute concert, and he was the only one to sing Somebody to Love, it was the only choice for Brian May and the band. He hits the note at the end that only Freddie could hit. If you watch that performance, it will give you chills. Yeah, Rick Beato is great, Coach. I try to watch when he's interviewing somebody that I'm really interested in, like Billy Joel. It's very informative. He asks great questions. He gets to the heart of the artist and things, and that was terrific. I strongly suggest that one. It just came out recently, I think. Opal says, Faithfully by Journey, Steve Perry, one of the all-time greatest singers. Yep. No doubt. No doubt. Little River Band, Australia, we probably booed them off the stage like AC/DC as well. Yeah. And now we have 6 Australian subscribers to the show. How great is that? 6. Good stuff, man. Really good stuff. Love the Little River Band. Oh, He wants back in. Let me grab him. Jen will be here in a second. I don't know where she is. She's fashionably late as always. Hey, I'm gonna say it. Music was just better then. No, it was not, Wayne. Bismarcky, also underrated. We talked about it a little bit last night. We delved into some things before we got dominated into the sports conversation, but you don't know what's real today. Most of the, I didn't even want to use the term artists, most of the people who get paid way too much to release the music today aren't genuine. They're going in studios. AI has become a big part of music. They go in, they have voice correctors, they have music instrument correctors, and then they go out on the road and they sound like utter and complete dog shit because they don't have any talent. They just look the part. There are exceptions. There are exceptions. Oh, I see why she was late. She's here now, and look at her. She's at work. Ooh la la. They work, Jen, this morning. What's going on? How are you?
Hey, all right. You seem kind of chill. Like you're kind of talking in your therapy voice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything good on your side?
Is this a good Rick? You like this Rick? Is this
It's very calm. It's calm, Rick. Calm, sedate, chill. Everything's going to be fine. People love you, and everything's going to turn out great.
No, I think it's a product. You know how you get older, I used to always scoff at my dad about the weather. I mean, whatever, Dad. Now you realize how right he was. The weather kind of dictates how you feel. We've had clouds here, and we need the rain, but we've had rain and clouds for the last several days here in Reiner, and I guess maybe it just kind of, okay, another one of those days. It's fine. It's fine.
Well, it doesn't seem Friday-ish when it's like that, so it's hard to have your Friday hype going.
Yes.
Yeah. I thought maybe you were up late last night with the crew doing.
Well, we were, weren't we? We stayed on for 3.5 hours.
I was like, oh, maybe he got into the bourbon and went late.
So. If I would have been off work today, maybe.
That was really fun.
You chiming in chat. That was great. That was your first time.
It was, and that poor little guy who came in and was telling us all about his life without any prodding at all, telling us about being engaged, and unfortunately he's had some trouble with some ill relatives, and I mean I was trying to counsel him. Speaking of counseling, I was trying to help him out because I didn't want you to have to deal with it while you were doing your thing. And
yeah, it was a little weird. Yeah. Wayne's right. I'm still tired from bowling all those strikes. By the way, you missed my amazing athletic prowess from bowling.
Well, I heard something last night about 5 strikes in a row. I think it was.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounded like you had quite a day.
Well, I was very impressive. Yes, I was.
I wish I could have gone. It looked really fun, and I want to know whose hokey boots were those that were custom made.
I'll tell you who. That was Big Al.
Mm.
Big Al, who's been to, I don't know, I always misquote how many games he's been to. It's like 400 straight Tech games.
Is he the Big Al from the restaurants downtown and the hair salon?
No. He's not. But everybody was tall. Like, there were so many tall people there that listened to the show. Big Al being one. He's like 6'4". Wayne's like 7'3". Tebow's like, I don't know how big Tebow is. Ron Shelburne shows up. We had a bunch of tall people there. You'd have loved it. You're tall. You're like what? 5'11"?
In my shoes, yes, I'm 5'8" without my shoes on.
Yeah. Christian makes a good statement. I'm going to ask you, music girl. Music used to be created. Now it's produced.
It's overly produced. I would agree with that. I don't like recordings that are real cleaned up in the studio either. I like a little grit in my music. I like it and maybe this is a product of where we're from, because I do think that is culturally important to us. Like, we like authenticity a lot, and I don't dig the overproduced slop, and auto-tune is so ugh. I mean, you think about the people who are really not that talented, who are surviving performing and recording music with auto-tune. There's a lot in the industry, like hot people who they turn into musicians.
Not that she's hot, but Taylor Swift, who can't sing a lick, completely out of auto-tune, who's a billionaire.
Well, she knows what she's a smart businesswoman, really. I don't know about what natural talent she has, but certainly
very little.
Very produced.
Very.
You'll see, even her fans will admit she's not much of a dancer and all that. Like,
no.
In terms of her performing. So, I think part of her appeal is because she seems still at her age. I don't know how old she is now, but she seems like a kid still, like in the way she looks and carries herself. This will be interesting to see branding wise how she handles being married and being really grown up.
She handed him a 40-page prenup. That's how she handled being married. How about that?
No, I mean, like in terms of her branding, because she writes all these songs about the cheerleaders and boyfriends and stuff that appeals to young audiences. So now, like, I think she's really tried to kind of stay in that box branding wise. So, how old is she? I'm sorry, I've lost track. Is she? She can't be 40 yet, right?
I have no idea. Let me see. She's not somebody I consciously think about very often.
It's like J-Lo, bless her heart. Like, she's such an attractive woman, great dancer, great.
36. She's 36.
Okay. Like, she's getting up there, but she's still just kind of presenting herself as much younger, like in terms of her content. And then you got someone like J-Lo who's close to, I think she and I are the same age. And, she's survived off auto-tune. Like, she's definitely not a singer. 100%. She's like, there's no way that she would be doing that. Like, she could be an actress, I guess. She could be a dancer, but she's not, to me, she's not a musician.
Right. Well, I listen to all these songs and I just don't know how they become popular. I just don't understand.
Well, I just read something that kind of depressed me on Instagram. I follow some people who are music management type people, and they were recommending to young independent artists that they have a friend start a fan account for them and pretend like they don't know them and like follow them around and try to get shots of the person. Like say you were my artist that I was trying to pump up. I would tell you, like, hey, act silly and do this, and I'm gonna like film you. You're gonna pretend like you're not aware of it. It, like, just so much manipulation and contrived content. And like they said that this is really successful to start all these fake fan accounts and then start building the person up and make them seem so likable and cute and fun. And it's just, all of it grossed me out. Like, I was thinking about Miles Davis. Someone wrote a comment and was like, can you imagine Miles Davis being told, like, hey, we're going to film this fake scene, and his reaction would have been, or John Coltrane or any of those people. So I don't know. I have a lot of mixed feelings about the state of the industry right now.
It's similar to Hollywood. They pay so many of these shill reviewers. Rotten Tomatoes is a complete joke. They pay for reviews. They hire people to review positively, and people just fall for it every time.
It's really It's real gross. I don't know. Like, to me, one of the biggest problems with society today is just the fall of legitimate journalism.
Yes, I've been talking about
It's really a big problem in a lot of areas of our lives. Like, people who, the journalists now aren't, they're not being paid well, they're not being taken care of, and they're doing other things. They're being vilified. All of it. It's really a problem in our society. Now all this AI slop. I don't know. I don't feel good about it.
No, you shouldn't. You're right. People are so easily brainwashed. The same mind think. All they care about. As long as there's an echo chamber, they're fine. They don't
Well,
care.
and that's so dangerous with our social media because the feed will show you what you want to see. It's not going to present to you something that challenges your beliefs. It's going to give you more of what you want because they want you to keep scrolling, stay on that. And
correct.
Really dangerous. Like all of it is kind of depressing, really.
Yeah, if you think about it, it is. But you're 100% right, especially in sports coverage. There's no legitimate folks covering sports, I don't think, anymore. I don't know where they are. There might be a few local people at certain places that do it the right way. I know we have. I think David Teal does it the right way.
Yes. But those are the people correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know David's story that well, but wasn't he let go from his last newspaper?
Yes.
Like, that's ridiculous. Someone of that skill level and talent and intelligence. These people, Andy Bitter, I think he let go from the Roanoke Times, essentially.
Yeah, Bitter got fired twice. Once from
like that's craziness because those two gentlemen are like among the best in their whole class. Like if those people can't be hanging on, there's something really wrong with the system. It's really messed up. Now, thankfully, I think Andy works with Tech Sideline. I don't know.
He does. Yeah.
I don't know. Just what is Teal doing? I'm not sure.
He works. He's still writing for the same. I can't remember the name of it, the Pilot or whatever. Yeah, he's got another full-time gig. So
okay, good, because people like that need to be protected because they're such a rare commodity now.
No, I'm with you. No, it's but sports media in particular is just. Well, look at the USA Today article that the lady's getting ripped apart that she wrote about Caitlin Clark. I mean, it's insanity. It's troubling. The mindset, the mind thing.
That's what I'm saying. And people feel free to just shred those people up and vilify them constantly. And they're knowledgeable at what they do, and we need those people. I was trying to vote in an election here, and it was so difficult for me to find coverage of the races for school board and things like that, the more local type races. I couldn't find good information about those candidates. And, all I could find was their own websites, which was helpful a little bit, but, it's a shame we don't have a local trusted expert who's following school boards like we used to and be able to, trust that someone would present all the information and about the candidates. If that's not serving us well, there's a lot that we're losing in that. The music criticism is difficult now. You don't really see a lot of that. I don't know, like the big newspapers, Washington Post, New York Times, I don't even know if they have the same team of people writing music criticism. I seriously doubt it. I can't imagine.
Well, it's almost like if you try to break down topics objectively, you're the bad person. Instead of, like I said, falling into the echo chamber, which I will never do. If I feel about something, I'll say it. If it falls in line with what people say, that's great. If not, okay. I'm not going to be apologetic about it.
I completely agree with that. And, it's the art of discourse. We're losing that.
Yeah.
The art and appreciation and the civility of discourse. People can't engage in that or appreciate it. And it's troublesome. I don't think it's headed the right way. I don't feel good about it.
Yeah, right.
And that makes me even more happy for things like football.
The scoreboard tells us the result, which is what Dwight's been talking about. The scoreboard will tell you how you should feel about things, all right? That doesn't lie.
And that's one thing I enjoy. I love copy editing. I don't know if you know this about me. I'm a big copy editor kind of person. And one thing I like about it is it's one of the few areas in our lives that is black and white. The rules, and I kind of like that. But at the same time, the other areas of our lives that are not, we should be able to discuss them without having the reactions that people are having.
people will immediately not give anybody in regard if they find out they may have voted different than they do. Right?
True. And I remember, I'm going to go a little old school here. I remember being at Christiansburg, and my dad was on the Board of Supervisors for 4 or 5 terms. I've lost track in Montgomery County. And I remember talking with my classmates about voting, and nobody was voting. No one cared. Like, they were all like, blah, 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 every time we would talk about it. And, it was just amazing, like just the apathy to now the complete other side of the spectrum. But even with that, people don't vote in local elections still. Like, if you look at the percentages, as passionate as people are and everything, they're not doing anything about it. They're not like, they like to complain and they like to grandstand and they like to talk about it a whole lot, but like, there's still a lot of people not voting still. I know, like, there's discussion about the mail-in voting making it easier, blah, blah, blah. I'm not trying to talk about that. I'm just saying the percentages show, like, registered voters don't come out in huge percentages for local elections. And those are the ones that often impact us the most.
100%. 100%. And yet they will complain. They will complain.
All the time.
You should run for council.
If I lived back home, I would. If I was still in Montgomery County,
you would be an ideal councilwoman.
I would love to do it. And it would be a cool thing to carry on Dad's legacy. He was the chair of the board and vice chair most of his time.
There you go. You'd cause a lot of problems, though. You'd cause a lot of problems because there'd be a lot of this from dudes calling home. Yeah, honey. Yeah. Nah, I got to work. Yeah. Yeah, well, Jablonski's here.
I loved it because it helps me really appreciate different kinds of people. Everyone should have to do this because Dad would take us as kids, Neil also, my big brother, to go door to door. And he was in District D, so that includes parts of like Plum Creek and Reiner and some of the more rural parts of the county. And we would go with him. And we met so many different kinds of people. You never knew who was going to open the door when you did the door to door stuff. Like, some people would just be like complete jerks, but a lot of people would be great, yeah. But it really taught me to deal with different kinds of people. And like, sometimes you would just disagree with people and they'd be like, I'm absolutely never ever voting for you. And we'd be like, okay, well, yeah, thanks for letting us meet you and saying hi. We just roll on. So I think it really helped shape me as a person, because you realize you're not going to make everybody happy, and some people are just not going to care for you, and you didn't do anything. It's just the way it goes sometimes. But
no,
I really am. Now when I look back at it, Neil and I used to complain like, oh, we have to go campaigning and do all this walking. We would gripe about it. And Dad would try to rob us. He'd be like, we'll go to one of those fun little country stores and you can pick out a soda out of the refrigerated section and be like, okay, I'll go.
Well, for me, a lot of times, not in every case, because sometimes people are just pieces of crap. But sometimes, most of the time, if I know somebody feels something completely different about me on the various topics, it makes me more interested in that person. Does that make sense? Like, how do you arrive at that? I arrive at this. I'd like to learn how you got to your mindset and how I got, I think to me, that's the whole element of human interaction, as opposed to saying, well, you just shut up. You're wrong.
You're a jerk. Like, personally attacking people because of that. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I feel like a lot of it is culturally ingrained in us, the way we think and feel about things. So if you can get to know people and their motivations, then it helps you understand why they like what they like and why they think what they think. So, you have to be willing to get down in the weeds a little bit to really get to know people, to understand their motivations. I have very close friends across the political spectrum, and I always learn something from them. And I appreciate their perspectives. If you just hang around people who just think just like you're not going to grow ever.
Agreed. Everybody's saying that you have their vote.
Thanks. Well, it's again, like having the last name Jablonski and trying to go out in rural Montgomery County was always kind of interesting. And people were like, what are you exactly? We got some really fascinating questions about that. But I'm proud of Dad that he won. And, he grew up in Delaware. He wasn't a local dude. So he really grew to care about the area. And he wrote a book on Montgomery County along with some other people that the Montgomery County Museum sells. And that was such a passion project of his. He was the chair of that. And I mean, he loves that place with every molecule of his being. So that's a pretty cool story.
No, honey, no. It's Councilwoman Jablonski. I guess I'll be working with her tonight for, I don't know, 9 or 10 o'clock. I'll let you know. Just go on to bed.
I would love it. I would so
what you do all night? Well.
I would dig it. I think it would be the most fun thing ever. But I'm here. No one cares about any of that sort of stuff.
Hey, Steven's asking, have you seen the new high school? I guess he means Christiansburg High School.
Yeah, Christiansburg's all renovated. I went by there, but I was unable to enter. But it looks pretty cool. It's so overdue. So overdue. That was always something that irritated me too growing up there. And I'm sorry, maybe this is different now. I felt like Blacksburg got all the renovations, the new stuff. Christiansburg was a little slower to get those things. I don't know if it's still that way, but I sort of felt like that, back in the day. But I'm really happy to see it happening. They need it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right.
I would love to see the new band room. I haven't seen any of that either. I'm, as you can imagine, very curious about all the music.
T-Bird saying on the call, but honey, why do I hear a saxophone playing? Don't worry about that. Yeah, I gotta go. Why is it playing Careless Whisper? I gotta go.
I don't think there's ever been a saxophonist on the Board of Supervisors. Maybe they need one. Maybe that's the missing piece.
It might be. It might be. But many people, not me, would say in chat, well, I won't have to worry about the saxophone playing because it hasn't yet on the show. Oh, just saying. That's something they would say, not me.
Yeah, you would never. You would never. Are they going to bring me a mini recording studio? I got mine in the mail.
Hey, look.
I'm trying to see. I can't.
It's your guy.
Is it Lenoris?
No, not.
Oh, it's Dylan Stewart.
No, this is actually a good football player. See? Look.
That's Dylan. Shush. That's Dylan Stewart, right? I can't see.
Yeah, Dylan Stewart.
Okay. I'm worried about Dylan Stewart. He's got a back injury. I don't know. A little bit worried about it.
Yeah.
Well, and also, I wanted to tell you, I've been watching SEC Days. And I can't remember his last name. New Arkansas coach is going to be real low in my polls.
Ryan Silverfield?
Yes.
He came from Memphis, yeah.
Ryan is not doing it for me. Summerall, maybe dropped a few notches.
Yeah, he came across as a terrible dude.
He looked like ragey and jerky. I don't know.
What he did with the reporter was ridiculous.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I didn't like the way he handled it. Also, I'm really sick of the cliche meter. I think I want to publish a list of cliches that a football coaches say that which would go away and die somewhere. And one of them is the joke about, well, I recruited a hot wife. I hate that whole thing. Like, that's stupid enough. Muschamp kind of started that, and you know how I feel about him. And I'm like, does she have any other good qualities? I mean, yeah, she's hot and you're rich, but
right,
maybe present it another way. Like, I don't know. All of it is overdone. Ryan did that too and talked about how, because he said that he didn't know what the word aura meant, which I was like, you're working with young people. How do you not know that? Like, that's your primary audience you work with. And then he said he didn't care if he had a nerdy aura or whatever, that he had a hot wife and that was, all that mattered, that kind of thing. And I was like, well, not really. If she's a big jerk, that's not that great.
Well, James Franklin got in trouble with that at Vanderbilt. You can read that. When he was at Vanderbilt, he made some comment about He wouldn't hire assistant coaches until he saw their wives to see if they could recruit. Yeah, he got in a lot of trouble down at Vanderbilt for that. And
That's yucky. Like, come on, y'all.
Yeah, he had to issue an apology. Yeah,
that's real yucky. Like, do better. Do better, everybody. Enough. And so Ryan is not going to be high on my date.
I can't wait. Now, when is this going to happen? When are we going to get this 2026 reveal of your most dateable SEC?
Definitely before the season starts. I've got to figure out when I'll have time to do my full analysis. I did do a lot of watching of the media days to get some scouting done, some initial reads out there.
Well, people were excited. I get more people want to know that more than they do the actual picks in the SEC. We got to go through South Carolina's schedule at some point too.
Well, I've got to think about my criteria too. Like after watching the jerky interaction with Arkansas and Florida, I was like,
jerky interaction.
That is such a turnoff to me. That's like a dude on a date being terrible to a server. It's just like equivalent to me. It's like if you're jerky to reporters, really. I mean, that guy probably makes like $30,000 a year. You mean a jerk to that guy? He's like left his family to go report and cover this for several days. I don't know. That's bully-ish behavior to me. Grips.
Phil Steele has you guys 9th.
Yeah, I thought I'd be pretty pleased with 9th after last year. I'll take it. That'd be great.
9th. We'll see. He's coming on Tuesday, so if you think of things to ask him, let me know.
Oh, okay. I appreciated you asking. Last night. I was gonna say yesterday, but last night's more specific.
Coach Elmo? Yeah.
Yeah, asking him about the Gamecock issue. Yeah, I agreed with everything he said.
If basically 5 or 6 wins, he thinks there's going to be a coaching change, and he's probably right.
I mean,
he's probably right.
Yeah. That A&M thing, Texas A&M, the way we choked that will forever live in my sad vault, in the vault of sadness in my brain. So awful.
I'm always interested in a dynamic like you guys have. Clearly, he and the AD aren't pals. And I wonder sometimes if the AD is torn. He needs them to be good. But at the same time, if he's not good, I can get my guy in here. Let's go get my coach in here, the one I want to hire. I wonder what goes through that mind when the season goes along. But
well, I would assume an AD at that level, the SEC level,
you think
would know how important football is to everybody. And,
you would think, yes.
I don't know. He's made a lot of changes here. Speaking of journalists and stuff, I know several of the people who deal with the press have been retiring. So I think he's making some changes.
Good news is I didn't hear anything controversial from Shane during SEC Media Days.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm wondering if there's a different handler. I don't know this to be.
Oh, I bet there's no doubt. He's embarrassed himself so often. I guarantee you they've got somebody assigned to that. Absolutely.
Yeah, well, I would guess that something has changed with that. So. I did have to say I saw Nick Harbor, our receiver, interviewed, and I thought he was fabulous. He was really well prepared for SEC Media Days. Lenoris is always very quiet and reserved, and he doesn't offer much, so that's safe. But I thought Nick talked a lot, but he handled himself really, really well. Like they tried to bait him on a few things, and he didn't take it. So.
Yeah, the tech guys were good too at the ACC media kickoff.
It's always nice as a fan when you see that.
Yeah.
And you see your players who are well prepared for that.
Well, what are you getting into this weekend? You traveling? Are you actually home?
I am traveling. I'm going to Michigan for my annual recruitment trip.
Michigan Gin. All right.
I'm excited about the break from the weather. I just hope all my travel works because I've been reading stories about people on the tarmac for 3 hours and then going back, and then tarmac 3 hours and then going back to the gate. And I don't want that.
Industry.
I'm going to bring some some little snackies and things in my bag so that I'm prepared for that and try to just make it work if it does happen.
Take your Phil Steele yearbook. You'll be engulfed for a long
That's
time.
a good idea, actually. I do like to read it. It's just so much information. The type is so small. I have to put on like my extra strength glasses, get up in it to see it all. But I really enjoy it. He's a great interview too. Speaking of, like he always is prepared. Like you will ask him things about different schools. I know that he's prepared to talk about Virginia Tech when he talks with you, but you go off the script sometimes, and he's always ready. He always knows.
Well, he did reach out yesterday, and he does ask, "Hey, are we doing the same thing?" He knows he already knows who I am, so he'll just say, "We doing ACC and things of that nature." And I said,
"Did you warn him you're going to ask about South Carolina? Maybe you should."
Yeah. I said, "Yeah." I said we may jump into the SEC, and I'm going to ask you about putting together this magazine in the age of the portal. Because I know there's a lot of challenges. So yeah, see how smart that question is. See what I do.
You're good at what you do. When that wayward guy came in our chat last night, he said, "Who's your favorite YouTuber?" I said, "Rick Watson."
Rick Watson. I know you did. That was exciting. I got all tingle.
Mm-hmm. You were busy. I was feeling bad for you because he just kept pelting the questions. So
yeah. Well, you handled that guy very well. That was all. I think he was very satisfied with your answers, so it was good.
Well, if you need me to start doing that, come in and deal with the chat management some.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Yeah.
There was someone else who posted something I can't say here that was pretty funny.
Yes.
About your order arrived, if that triggers.
Yes.
Okay.
I wanted you to chime in on that, but we got nothing. So.
Well, that was when I first came on. I was just kind of
okay.
trying to see what was going on.
All right. Well, have a good weekend. You take care.
And so we're done, just like that.
Well,
it's like a guillotine.
Yes, I didn't realize it was 8:35. I got to get down to the other gig. Yeah, we're over. See, but time flies with you so effortlessly. I didn't even know it was.
All right. I feel like we were at dinner having a nice date, and then you're like, "Check, please." Okay. All right, we're done here.
Yeah, I got to cut this short, right?
Okay. That's all right. I'll find something else to do.
Well, you look spectacular on a Friday. You're going to make all your coworkers happy when they come by Miss Jablonski's office.
Thanks. I try to bring a little joy to the office, a little Gamecock love with the colors.
I see that.
Gotta represent.
Brandon says Rick is everyone's favorite YouTuber.
True. Why wouldn't he be?
Am I really a YouTuber?
You are now.
Am I a YouTuber? Wayne says, I'm pulling out the scales to weigh your food before I leave the table.
I have one on my desk.
Hey!
I have it on my desk because I'm trying to be more conscious of my portion size.
You're eating quite a bit there, aren't you? Here,
let me see it's different if you do it to yourself versus someone else doing it for you.
SEC? What is that? Football? Yuck! That's 2 of Jen's dates, ladies and gentlemen. 2 of her actions.
And the guy's nose spray without shielding or anything, just rammed it in his nose.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't you have a guy rubbing the what was it? Or am I just imagining that or remembering that wrong? Didn't you have a guy that put the nasal rub or something on or something?
I think you're the nose spray story is probably morphed into that.
That's what it is. It was the nose spray guy. That's what it was.
There was no shielding or I'm so sorry. I'm going to the bathroom. No. It was just straight up
So where are we going after dinner? Dinner. Want some? No, we're good. We're good.
Which SEC football coach would be most likely to use nose spray? Maybe Ryan.
Oh, that should be a new category. Yeah,
Ryan. I think Ryan might.
Right, you already have your guy.
I don't know. He was real unappealing to me.
Yeah, he made some stupid comments. They all did. They all were all the new guys seemed very uncomfortable at their first SEC media day.
Not good.
Summerall being the worst. Yeah, just toolbox. All right. Well, be safe. Let me know you get there, okay? I worry about you when you travel so much.
In Michigan,
Yes.
they have delicious cherry treats, home of the cherries. I'm excited.
Oh,
But
really?
it's also home to the parasite lettuce. So
Yeah.
they think the outbreak is coming from Michigan. So I will not be eating any lettuce. I'm not.
Well, be a good girl, as good as you can be.
Thank you, Ray.
And we'll reconvene next week. And great to have you in chat last night during Pop.
I'll try to come back next week.
You better. All right. Be a good girl. Stay safe. Mwah! Be good. I just did the loser sign, I didn't mean that at all. You couldn't see it. I was doing that. See, that's what it looked like.
No horn.
But then I gave the love sign. See, that's the love sign.
Well, okay. All right.
It looked like I was saying loser, though, and that's not what I meant. Yeah.
But you could do this for me, like the Go Cox, like Spurs. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
6 and 6. All right. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you. We'll see you next Friday. Take care. Be a good girl. Jen the Gamecock girl. All right, everybody. Great stuff. As always, we love her. She knows we love her. She knows I love her. Everybody enjoy your weekend. Thanks again. Great week. Great guests. We added a lot more subs. We got people. We're growing. We're getting there. Monday, a lot going on. Big guests next week. We'll review all of it. Everybody take care, and we will talk to you on Monday. Have a great weekend, everybody.